Hello. I am going to attempt to do a crazy nail design for my 80s theme I've got going this week. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. There might be several different portions of this video where I take breaks in between to figure out what I'm doing. So these are the two colors. You're cordially invited and Are You Madriding Me? They're nice and bright, 80s style. So I'm going to attempt to do a design. Okay, so I have washed my hands, I pushed my cuticles back gently, and I'm going to use this alcohol prep pad to clean my nails. So my cuticles are kind of dry, and I'm very tempted to put lotion on them before I do this, but don't do that. You'll have a hard time getting them to stick, and it's just not a good idea. So what comes in the pack is the set of strips. There's 2 sets of 8, a little file that you can use, and then this alcohol prep pad that I have. So I'm just cleaning them off one at a time. And when I start, I'm gonna start on my pinkies, and I'm gonna work toward my thumb because you need your thumbs as tools. So you wanna keep them clean and you don't want to get them messed up. I have yellow marker on my finger and it will not come off. So that's what that is. So I've got my nails all prepped. So I'm going to open my bag. Pull these out. So you can see it comes with this many. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the best size for my ring finger, because what I'm going to do is a design on my ring finger, and then this pinky finger is going to be a different color, so I don't want to do that one yet. And when I'm picking a color, I like to pick one, or picking a size, I like to pick one that's just a little bit bigger than I think I'm going to need, because I don't want to, it reminds me of side boob, but it's the side of your nail, and you don't want it to be naked. So like I said, I just try to find one that's a little bit too big. Like you can see this one is a little bit too big. So what I'm going to do is take this off here, and I'm going to try to do a V shape on my ring finger. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to do a slant on my ring finger. So I'm going to take this and cut a diagonal of where I think it'll look nice on my ring finger. Here we go. So you can see it's going to fit on a diagonal like that. So you take the top off. It's a little harder once you don't have the strip. And then you take the bottom off. Now this is a solid, and I'm sure you've seen my video recommendations for solids because they are less forgiving than glitters for sure. Okay, so I'm gonna line this up in the center of my cuticle. Okay, let me see if that's centered. And then I'm gonna push down the middle. And then you can see there's a little kind of wrinkle in the side, and you just pull to smooth it out. And I'm gonna do the same on the other side. And then I take my cuticle stick, and you can see there's a little bit extra here. I'm going to, maybe I'll put it right here so you can see, kind of push it down, smooth it down, take the cuticle pusher and make sure it's tucked in there. And work this also and push it down. Lift it up a little bit to get that wrinkle out. And if you do have a little bit of extra on the side there, this is when you use your thumb. You tuck it under and just kind of chop away at it with your thumb until the little piece comes off. So now I have my little diagonal. Okay, so the middle one, I'm just gonna do half one color and half another color. So I'm just going to cut it right up the middle and hope it works. Don't know what I'm doing. I watched one YouTube video. That's enough, right? Okay. So I'm going to peel the top off. Peel it off of the paper. And then I'm going to pull it closer to my face because I'm going blind. And then stick it down. On the side. And you gotta stretch it. That's one thing about solids. You don't want to get waves. So you stretch it a little bit when you're pulling this way on the side. And then I was talking about your thumbs. You can just kind of scoop your thumb underneath to cut off the excess. And you'll have just like a little bit underneath, and just leave that there for now. It's fine. What I'll do is when I'm all done, I'll come back and they'll have hardened a little bit, and then I can pinch off all those extra, or like file off all those little extra things that are underneath. Okay, so for my pointer finger, I'm gonna do a V shape, supposedly. So I'm gonna just cut a little triangle out of the tip. I know a lot of you probably are not surprised I'm doing this. I love being crafty. Okay, so you got a little triangle, and then later I'm going to fill that in with orange, with the Corally Invited. So then I'm going to take that. This one is a little bit harder to line up since there's no cuticle to line it up with, but maybe that's going to make it easier. So you can see the triangle is going to be in the middle, pointing up. So I'm just going to smooth it down the middle, and then this one, I'm going to pull it towards the side here. I'm going to press this little corner down so it doesn't move, and then pull it again out and towards the side to get rid of those waves. And you can see it's a little bit big, but I'm going to just perforate that with a cuticle stick. And then using my thumbs, go underneath, get the extra bit off. And then I'm going to cut this really quick and then come back and fix my pointer finger in a second here. Hopefully this is long enough. If it's not long enough, I can always just use another size. Looks like this is just gonna fit. So I'm gonna finish that up underneath like this. Those little hanging pieces will come right off as soon as it starts to harden. And I'll use my cuticle stick to push it down. Oh, you can't see that. And then just perforate along the edge here. You gotta do it a couple times. Don't just do it once and then try to rip, because it could rip part of the nail off on the side. You don't want that. So you just keep going back and forth like that. And I'm going to do that and finish that for the rest of my other pointer finger too. Okay, so I've got my next set, your Corally Invited. It's a pretty coral color. It's got a little bit of a shimmer to it, but it's not exactly a glitter. I just thought it would be a good contrast with the hot pink. And I'm going to attempt to fill in the rest of my design. So you can see I've got a triangle, halfy, and then a little angle, and then I'm going to do the pinky all orange, and I'm going to do my thumb all pink. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at what size I used for my ring finger. So I think this is the right size. Like I said, you want to do something that's a little bit bigger than you think you'll need. so that it covers completely to the sides and you don't have any nails showing on the side. So for this one, what I'm going to do is hold it on my tip, and then I'm going to cut an angle, and I have this little piece here that I have left over that's an angle, so I'm going to put that on there and just use that as a reference. I'm going to cut it kind of towards the middle so I have that extra to hang off the edge. And then I should have a corresponding angle on the other side. So you can see it'll fit right there. So take off the clear top. Somehow. Got it. My hands are so dry, everything's sticking to me. Okay, so I've got my angle here. And you gotta be careful because once these stick to each other, they are going to be stuck. So you gotta make sure you got it right where you want it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I got it right on there. And then see again how it's bigger than it needs to be, and that's fine because I'm just gonna push that down with a cuticle stick. And I'm gonna do the side first so that the top doesn't come unstuck. Oh, this is looking pretty 80s. Those pastels and neons. So like you can see, I'm just carefully chopping off the side, wrapping it under, and then I'm going to chop it with my thumb. Oh, that's pretty cute. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece that I already chopped, and look at that. It fits right there. So I'm going to do this one next. Okay, so I got these two done. I'm going to do the middle, and again, that's just cutting it right down the middle and sticking it on the side just like I did with the diagonal. Okay, so this one is probably going to be the trickiest one. We'll see how it goes. But so I had the little leftover triangle cutout piece, and what I did is I took it and I traced it on the back so I can cut out a little triangle. And I mean, I've got tons of this, so I can trial and error. Might have to cut out more than one triangle. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cut this out and then see if I can piece it in there like a little puzzle. See how it goes. I finished it. What do you think? It's pretty fun. Totally 80s. So after all that, I still have this many strips left of the hot pink. So I'm going to tape this up. I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag and I'm going to throw it in my freezer. And that'll stay in there until I decide to use these maybe this spring. I've used sets that are a couple months old from the freezer and they still work great. You just have to work them a little bit more and make sure that they're room temperature or warmer before you try to apply them. Or another option is to take your flat iron and you just seal up this end here and throw it in a drawer.